Maybe it is a sign. Maybe it is a sign that I just need to quit on YouTube and content in general. Yeah. I made an entire video a couple minutes ago and it was using my wrong camera and I was facing this camera and my other camera is over here and it was the side of my face and it was really good information and I want to scream. And so I thought, you know what? I'm done. This is done. This is too terrible. I spent 12 minutes talking to camera and I ended up with a whole video that I have to trash. I can't even get a good short out of it. And I thought, you know what? It's okay. I'm going to take the time to re-record and we're going to talk about it. And what the real topic here is something that has helped me tremendously when it comes to my content, and it is the ability to be flexible. I have struggled so much with content. I've struggled enormously with what to make, when to make it, what platform to be on, you name it. And I will tell you the past couple weeks have been rough because I looked at my analytics and especially with the Google Ads channel, right? Which again, Google Ads is my expertise. That is how I pay the bills, like it or not. And when it comes to the Google Ads content, I looked at my analytics and it validated what I knew in my head already. And that is that I am talking to an audience of people that just want to learn Google Ads. And I've opened up before about how I make content. And I've said that I've played with numerous different things. My current go-to has been, again, when I go to write a blog post, I will dictate it into a Google Doc, just train of thought, everything that I'm thinking. And then I will take that and I will plug it into AI. I will have AI outline it for me so it makes sense. And then I turn and plug my sections into that outline. Now, I think the negative of that is I will tell you, I think even the outline strips a lot of the naturalness of a blog post, but it is structured. It does what it's supposed to do. So it's a push-pull. It's a give-take. You have the tool, use it responsibly. That's what I meant. Anyway, so for my blog posts, what I had been doing again was I had been outlining, then going to camera, talking to camera, and the talking to camera replaced what was known as the doc. So it got my natural language, my natural cadence. And then I would take that transcript and plug it in and create a blog post. But what now has happened is I've propagated an issue throughout, right? My blog posts are educational in nature, not talking to an ideal client. My YouTube channel, very, very clearly not talking to an ideal client. And so I've been flexible and I have shifted. I've shifted to a different place where I am starting with the blog post because it has to be more thought out. I have to take the time as I'm writing it. I have to think, would my ideal client actually search this, right? Would they come to Google and type this into the search engine and be looking for this information? And now what I'm now doing is starting to do my videos after the fact. So that is where you will start to hopefully see my YouTube channel pivot to. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we will see, because it is so natural when you are a technical expert to want to educate. And I will say that, when I had business coaching at the very beginning, when I first started my business coaches, I think I've said this before, I hired a social media team to be my business coaches. These were social media managers by trade, but they helped me build all the systems behind my business, helped me sort of understand the mentality of being a business owner versus being a doer. I mean, there were lots of amazing parts about the business coaching, but they were really experts in content creation and used to tell me constantly ad nauseum, they'd be like, talk about the transformation. Do not educate. And then they would be like, oh, Sarah, there you are educating again. Transformational content sells. And so it's been something that has been drilled in my head, and it is something that I fundamentally know in my heart, again, from the expertise. So it's not like, hey, here are, the different match types. It is, my client used the wrong match type and here is what happened. Or my client was using the wrong match type and they bled through $20 million. Here's how I fixed it. And so it's a different way of doing your content, but it takes some practice. Especially when we're born educators, especially when the messaging is, talk to your ideal client, talk to your ideal client. And we a lot of times do talk to ideal clients, and the ideal clients want to be educated, but that is not how they got to us in the first place. They got to us in the first place because we talked about a specific problem that they were having and then addressed that with how we would handle it in our methodology. So again, I have not been doing that well. I am not the shining example of that. You cannot look over at my Google Ads channel and say Sarah's been doing that well. I have started to build, a little bit of a following over there, but I am looking to improve. And because I am a marketer, because I am a person of, high marketing integrity, I'm looking at the data, and the data is frankly validating it. So that's where I'm at with my content. And I wanted to make this video today specifically to really, really address it. And for anyone else that's having the problem, I want to assure you. And I also want to assure you that, that flexibility is important and not being hard on yourself, because again, we are natural educators. And I would also argue that we can absolutely still see success with educational content. And that is because of a couple different things. It builds your network in the industry. It builds your sort of chops for making content, right? I'd rather make content than not. It networks you with agencies, which will refer you out, especially if you're very smart in specific aspects of the platform. They'll say, oh, she's clearly an expert in XYZ. I'm going to refer her out. So it's not necessarily like educational content is a failure. Again, I'd rather do a little bit than nothing at all. But at the same time, it's not the perfect solution. It's not what's going to get the clients. It's not going to get a CMO knocking at your door. For them, you need to be talking about audiences, moving market share. You need to really, really get into their core problem, which is, am I going to have to fire my agency? Or am I going to fire my entire paid search team because AI is taking their job? Or how do we level up a paid search team because they're so used to doing everything and they don't even know how to be strategic? And so there's a lot of content like that we can be making in our industry to help our ideal client get that connection to us. And I myself am going through it right there with you doing it. So if you have questions, if you have concerns, if you're struggling with this, you are certainly 100% not alone at all. If you're a technical person or a technical marketer and you work for yourself and you're trying to build up the content machine and you keep defaulting to education, you're not a failure at all. It does work, but it's not ideal. Better than nothing. And I'm so glad that I jumped on today to make this video, remake it, because I had, recorded the side view and it just wasn't authentic. I tried to save it, you guys, I really did. And thank you so much for listening to this. I look forward to seeing you. I hope everybody is having a happy holidays, digging into their content and being flexible, and happy content creation season. I wish everybody the best luck. And I cannot wait to share the journey with you into the new year.